Ariel, how hyped are you after so many cups of coffee?
I literally feel that time is moving in slow motion because I've drank so much. Whoa!
I'm Jen, your local New York City guide, and today we are talking about coffee. I love coffee shops, but confession, I don't really like coffee. So don't you worry, keep watching, because Ariel, my friend from Urbanus, he is a coffee expert. He has personally tasted some of the best coffee here all around the city. So he is going to guide us to the best 5 spots. Let's go now.
New York City is known for its coffee. Here there's a huge concentration of coffee shops and roasters. Now, what I really love about New York City coffee is that there's so many. Every single corner there's an amazing coffee shop. But today we're going to 5 specific coffee shops, which I recommend in Manhattan. Let's go. We're in the middle of the Greenwich Village, which is one of my favorite neighborhoods in all of New York City. But I think the main reason this neighborhood is awesome is because it has some of the most old school places in New York City. Before Williamsburg was ever cool, before Bushwick was ever the hippest place in all the world, the Greenwich Village was the hippest place in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And some of the most famous artists, poets, writers, and David Bowie all hung out here at Cafe Reggio, the oldest espresso bar in New York City, dating back to 1927. Right now I'm drinking an Americano. The reason I like Americano here is because I feel like I'm in an old school European cafe. This is one of the oldest espresso bars in all of New York City, dating back to 1927. They have an espresso machine that was the very first espresso machine imported into North America. When it was first brought here, it cost a few $1,000s, and it was all the rage. People from all around the city came over here to Cafe Reggio to see this wonderful new invention, pulling out very creamy coffee that was called espresso, and to most Americans, they had no idea what that was. This is also a family-owned coffee shop, and it's been owned by the same family since the 1920s. Now, another cool thing about Cafe Reggio is the atmosphere. All around, people are just chatting, drinking their espressos, their lattes, their cappuccinos, everything. Surrounded by some of the coolest art here imported from Italy, including benches that were imported from the Medici family from the 1600s. Apparently, certain museums keep coming to Cafe Reggio wanting them to donate these benches to their museums. But they keep saying no. They want to keep them. So the pastries here are what makes Cafe Reggio really worth it. They use old school Italian-American recipes, so you just feel like you're back in gritty old New York when you're coming here eating a great pastry. This pastry is amazing, and it has a bunch of hard layers, and it's added with a nice orange liqueur on it. It's beautiful. Now, are you happy?
Coffee bones?
By far the most Instagrammable coffee shop in all of New York City. 1, because they have this cool coffee cup with a bunch of bones. 2, because it's in the middle of SoHo, and it's one of the most fashionable places in all of New York City. So usually there's very fashionable people inside. And also, they're great for flat whites, because this is a New Zealand owned coffee shop. So get yourself a flat white here at Happy Bones. Cheers.
Grumpy girl goes to Cafe Grumpy.
Cafe Grumpy is one of my favorite places in New York City. Mostly for the reason is because I consider them to be the no bullshit cafe. Because while most coffee shops in New York City, people are hunched over in their laptops working all day, this place has no Wi-Fi, no outlets. You have to actually sit and talk to people. Now, they started in Greenpoint, and you might recognize them from a certain HBO show called Girls. The main cafe depicted in Girls is directly based on Cafe Grumpy. And one of my favorite drinks to have at Cafe Grumpy is their Heartbreak Espresso. Cheers. Jen, why are you so grumpy?
You know, you keep bringing me to all these coffee places, and I don't have anything I can drink here, okay? I'm just like waiting for the next one where I can actually drink something.
Okay, all right, let's do
Let's
this.
do this. In this whole coffee tour, I get a hot chocolate. I love hot chocolate. This is actually the drink that I choose to drink a lot of times. If there is, you know, a coffee date or something like that, I'll get a hot chocolate or a tea. But first, I want to hear more about Ariel. Why did you choose this spot?
This is my #1 recommendation for coffee in all of New York City. One, it's a historical landmark that used to be a bookstore where all the beatnik writers used to hang out in. It was empty for many years, and they decided to restore this entire place and spend $10 million to make it one of the most beautiful coffee shops in all of New York City. But inside the coffee shop, you can buy one of the best pour-overs in all of New York City. The reason I like their pour-overs is one, it's only $4 and some change. And two, you can have a wide variety of beans, and the baristas are amazing. I love Stumptown. One of the best places in all of New York City. Definitely check it out. So one of the reasons I like Greenwich Village is because all the coffee shops are around here.
So many good ones here.
Yeah. Now, don't let this be mistaken for there are just in the Greenwich Village, because you can find Stumptown 2 other locations. There's one in Cobble Hill, and there's one in the Ace Hotel, which you probably visited.
Yes, I've been there, and it's really great. You can work on your laptop, and like so many people just go there and work.
Exactly. And then for the next stop, there's a bunch all around the city. You're about to find out.
Ooh.
But before we do, how's the hot chocolate?
It's really good. I'm not gonna lie, it's not my favorite. I'm really, really picky about my hot chocolate. I like it really creamy, super chocolatey. I love Grom for hot chocolate. It's an Italian spot where you get amazing gelato in the summer, but in the winter you can get an affogato with hot chocolate poured over your gelato, or just a pure hot chocolate, which is basically like melted chocolate. So good. So yeah, that's my favorite.
I think that's for a next video then.
Honestly, I think we should
Best hot
definitely
chocolate in the
include that
city.
in our next video. Yes.
Let us know what you think in the comments.
Should we cross?
Yeah.
Oh, we can totally cross and vlog at the same time. Woo! This is my #1 favorite place for cold brew coffee. The cold brew that they do here is just absolutely wonderful. Here they have a Ethiopia single origin cold brew, and that ties a little bit into the actually not a little bit, a lot into the history of coffee, because it ties into the founding origins, where coffee came from. Highlands of Ethiopia in 850 AD. Right around where this coffee comes from, actually. There was a little shepherd boy by the name of Kaldi who had these herd of goats. And one day, the goats just ran away, and he had no idea where they went. So he started walking around through the highlands trying to find his herd of goats. And as he went through the bushes, he saw that the goats were eating this little cherry. And as they were eating this cherry, they were dancing and frolicking around the bushes.
And he was so amused by them, and this was the first time he saw his goats really dancing around. So he was like, let me try this cherry. And he tried this cherry, he ate it, and suddenly he felt so hyped up, as you feel when you drink a good cup of coffee. As I feel right now after drinking many cup of coffees.
Of course I've been up all night. Not because of caffeine, it was insomnia. I couldn't stop thinking about coffee. I need a nap.
He took this cherry to one of the Islamic priests of the Sufi order. And as he took this cherry to the Sufi priest looked at it and he was like, this is not a godly type of thing to eat. And he just threw it into the fire. And as this cherry fell into the fire, it started emitting this beautiful, wonderful essence into the air. The same essence that you get when you smell a good, fresh cup of coffee. And suddenly the Sufi priest was like, let's drink that. Because Sufi priests dance all night in order to pray to God. And so he drank this coffee bean and took it to his fellow priests, and they started drinking it, and they started dancing all night. That is apparently the very start of coffee. Zoom many hundred years later, and coffee took Europe by storm. Because before the 1500s, people in Europe used to get drunk all the time. That was the only thing that they had access to, was beer and alcohol. And they wouldn't really drink water because the water supply wasn't quite the best. But suddenly, coffee came. And coffee, rather than put you down, it put you right up. People started hanging out at a bunch of coffee shops, started talking all the time because they were so hopped up on coffee. And as they were talking, finally awoken for the first time in their lives, they started talking about revolution, about industry, about technology. And suddenly we have multiple revolutions all around Europe, and also the Industrial Revolution, because everyone was hopped up on coffee. That's the beauty of coffee. Cheers.
Ariel, how's your iced coffee?
When it comes to the everyman or woman of New York City, we drink real cold coffee during the middle of the winter. However, this is not iced coffee. This is actually cold brew. They're different. Iced coffee is hot coffee brewed over ice, so you get very acidic flavor, great for milk and sugar. But cold brew is strictly steeped at room temperature, and it takes about 24 hours, and you end up getting a smooth, nice, creamy cup of coffee. And even though I am freezing cold, I'm really enjoying it.
I'm Jen.
I'm Ariel.
And thank you for taking this tour with us of the best coffee spots here in New York City, especially in Manhattan. Thank you for sharing the history. And for more history, check out his channel down below.
My pleasure. And we've done like a bunch of videos all around New York City. Tacos,
best food
bagels,
praises,
etc.
everything.
Lots of things.
All the good food. So don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button for more. As always, say yes to new adventures, and I'll see you next time.
Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Very caffeinated.